Okay, here we go. Third take. We're good. We're recording. I've got things up. I've got the notes going. Everything's set. MXLR is running, and I'm getting messages. And I am now hitting go now.
Anybody tell you that I miss practice? If a coach say I miss practice and y'all hear it, then that's that. I mean, I might have missed one practice this year, but if somebody say he doesn't come to practice, it can be one practice out of all the practices this year. That's enough. If I can't practice, I can't practice, man. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. But it's easy to talk about. It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here. I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice, not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
It's something about the girl.
You're listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine. Welcome back to Stream the Machine, everybody. Good Lord. Still doing some technical tweaking there towards the end of the intro, but we are good to go. This is episode 36. Episode 36, I think. Yeah, we're good. We're good. It's episode 36. Welcome to the show. Welcome to everything that's going on. I have a new processor this week, so hopefully we won't cause too many hitches in the show. I did notice, though, it looks like the processor's running at like 70-80%, which is much higher than I expected it to be running. That said, it's better than 100%. So, I guess we're doing alright. Anyways, I am your host, Jake Mercer. With me, as always, is Tony DePalma. Tony, how you doing today? Tony, you are muted. Did I mute you? Did you mute you? What? You're not muted? Well, that's a problem, because I can't hear you. I just heard you before the show. Why is this... God damn it, why is this happening? Let's see if Skype is picking this up. Nope, I am not getting anything. I'm gonna close the call and then call you back, I guess. Technical difficulties, everybody. What a pain in the rear freaking end. Test?
Hello?
You are back now.
Okay.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Wow, what a pain in the... I'm gonna say it. Balls. It was a pain in the balls. I don't understand. I didn't even do anything. All I did was... Whatever. Anyways, we're here. We're good to go now.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. So first things first. Every week, talk about giving us reviews. Go give us reviews on iTunes. Give us good reviews, give us bad reviews, anything to make us appear better or worse at our jobs. It helps. It helps for people that want to go listen to the show. Anyways, so actually, I'm going to go back because I introduced you and then I couldn't hear you. Welcome to the show, Tony DePalma. How are you doing today?
A little sore. Chevelle kind of did a number on me last night.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and skip anything about reviews. Reviews, okay, so yeah, that's cool. And also, quick mention, Ross is out today, so we will be having somewhat of a shorter show. Just kind of enjoying ourselves. And no break, so we'll be powering all the way through, and then we got a song, and then we'll be done.
Yep.
But we got plenty of cool things to talk about. Anyways, first of which is the Chevelle show. So you went and saw Chevelle last night.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about it before the show. You said it was your first time seeing them. Let's see. So, I guess I'm trying to think. Actually, I don't know what I want to say. We might have already said everything we wanted to say about Chevelle. You went to see Chevelle. Where'd you see him at? Where was the venue? I don't remember.
He was at Expo Gardens.
Oh, okay, that's right. Because you said you used to work there, so you got in for free.
I used to work there, and so I go there, and I told my cousin and my brother, I was like, "Hey, you can just go with me. We can just go in through through the office,
right?
Not have to pay." Because it just I don't know, it just wasn't that big of a deal because no one's going to be in the office. Right. I used to work there. Joey worked there for a few weeks during the fair one year. And my boss likes me. But me and my friend Cole, who I went with, we walk into the office and all the directors on the board of that place are in the office.
Oh, Lord. And
I was like, oh, Joey, Micah, you might not be able to come in. So then they just didn't even come because they didn't have cash on them, and then they didn't want to drop $35 when they weren't really planning on it.
Right, that makes sense.
From the moment Chevelle started, my heart rate was up here just because we were right on the edge of a mosh pit.
I'm not, I've never been much of a mosher. You seem like you're a little rowdier than I am, so.
It was, I tried to enjoy the music as much as I could because I was there to see him,
right?
Not to get in brawls. But when people kept shoving people into me, I was like, all right, these kids need to be put in their place a little bit.
We need to fight.
So I'd just go in there and just shove people around, cause havoc, and then I'd be the only one standing in the circle. No one would come back out, and then I'd go and watch Chevelle.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So I've only seen him. I think I said I saw him twice. I saw him once in Chicago, just outside of it. It was an outdoor concert, and I saw him once outside of Peoria. And they were really good both times I saw him. I really enjoyed them, and we talked about their setup was pretty neat and good show. I haven't really been a fan of their music in the last couple of years, just because it's gotten a little softer, which is fine. You can do soft music. You don't always have to do heavy stuff, but I like their heavier music a little more. So yeah, it's only natural for me. I'm not saying that they're a bad band by any means, because they're not. They're good. They also hail from Chicago, so they're repping the home team. We're not from Chicago, but at least from Illinois. So good on them. So I said no Ross today, so we'll be burning through the show. Christmas is right around the corner.
Wait, what's Christmas?
Christmas is this week, I believe.
Just kidding.
Oh, sorry. I was... Because you know what? I generally probably wouldn't have known that Christmas was this week if it wasn't for the fact that we have the time off. And so that's... at least we have Wednesday, Thursday off, I think. So that's a pain in the ass, is that we have to... I mean, I get it. It's nice that we have days off. And unfortunately, since we work with FedEx and other shipping companies, we don't get days off. The only days we do get off are the days that the shipping companies aren't working. And so we get Wednesday, Thursday, because that's Christmas Eve and Christmas. And then we have to come back in on Friday, which is going to be no one wanting to do any work day. And who knows how much we'll get done then. But it'll be exciting. Got 2 days off then, and then I've got 2 more days off the following week, I think, for New Year's Eve and New Year's as well. Same deal, I think. Let's take a look here. Is it also Wednesday, Thursday? It also is Wednesday, Thursday. Wow. So yeah, I guess I'm only working 3 days a week for the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
Which would be nice. It'd be cool to relax.
Cat takes off the 21st, or the 24th through the 1st. Just that entire week and a day.
Maui Jim used to do that. Maui Jim did. I don't know. Maybe they did like a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe. It was impressive. I was like, damn, must be nice, and it was nice the time that I took it.
Yeah,
getting to take a week or 2 off. I was ready to go back to work by that time. So Christmas, we're in the season. We got Christmas music we're playing on the show. Steam sales have begun. Have you made any purchases yet on the Steam sales?
Not yet.
Okay.
I just got paid yesterday.
You're a strong-willed man.
I'm trying to save for not an i7, but I want to get the 4690K. So like
Okay, so that was the other processor I was considering. So I went with the 47.
yeah,
But the 46 was like the other one that I would have gotten had I not known that the 47 was an i7. Very good, and it's since it's the K, it's overclockable. You can overclock it and still run it pretty well. Well, that's exciting. I've only purchased one game so far. It's been very good, what little I've played. Excited to see what else they've got. I'm going to kind of restrain myself and try to not spend as much as I normally do on it, given I don't have a ton of money because I've spent a lot of it recently on new hardware upgrades, but they usually get some crazy good sales, so I'm going to hold out. I'm going to see what we can get. So hope that something cheap enough maybe drops down to $5 and see what we can do for ourselves. I think it's lasting till January 2nd, which is pretty long, it seems. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
For a sale where you freaking spend almost your entire bank account every day, or at least you could. In bigger news, though, and I couldn't really figure out, so this week we have no, in other news, we have no tech movie / whatever. I do have a little bit of it we're going to talk about here. But I didn't really find any...
Page not found?
What'd I say? In other news? Yeah, we have in other news. We don't have any page not found. I'm sorry. And that is because I couldn't find a whole lot of articles that really interested me that were worth talking about. So instead, we are going to just talk about a couple of these things here in the intro. Biggest news is Tony's new movie getting canceled.
I know. Worked hard on that.
The interview. Now, we don't have to really talk about it in depth or get too political about this, because that's really not what the show is about, but I was curious what your thoughts were on canceling the movie. So for those, if anyone hasn't been paying attention to it, or if you've been living under a rock, the interview was a movie coming out with Seth Rogen and James Franco. It was a comedy. It was about them assassinating... They're being put on a mission to assassinate Kim Jong-un, I think. Mm-hmm. Or maybe just the leader of North Korea. I don't know if they specifically say Kim Jong-un.
It was Kim Jong-un.
Okay, so, you could probably see that as being relatively offensive. And North Korea, I think even Kim, he probably wants to be called King Jong-un. Kim Jong-un. Yes, the great leader of North Korea. I think specifically said that if that we were to air the movie, if the United States were to air this film, that there would be repercussions. To what degree? There's been varying reports, people saying like, well, they said it would be just as bad as 9/11, and, is it a bluff? Who knows? And so what do? The movie's just about ready to come out, and Sony decides, you know what? We don't want to show this movie. And so now it has been completely canceled. They thought about doing video release, like video on demand, Blu-ray / DVD sales. Eventually, all of that has been scrapped. As of this current moment, there is no plan for the public ever to see the interview unless it is to get leaked on some kind of pirate site or something like that. Because they are concerned about the claims that there was going to be a terrorist attack. Now that I've prefaced that for everyone that may not have been in the loop, what is your opinion on Sony deciding to cancel a movie based on a possible terrorist... Well, the terrorist threat was, I guess, I don't want to say legit, but, it was made, There was no ambiguity. They said there would be repercussions. They didn't say what, but they said there would be. So what are your thoughts on that?
See... I don't want to give Sony too much flack for it, because they gave it up to the theater chains if they wanted to show it.
Actually, you know what? That's true. It was the theater chains that started to cancel first, wasn't it?
Yeah, Carmike, AMC, they offered it up to the theater chains, because they're the ones who actually got threatened.
Right.
The terrorist attack was for theaters, so they gave them the option. But when a big 90% of the chains the big chains,
right?
That's a lot of screens. So for them, it kind of makes sense to just we'll just scrap that.
You're right. I can't believe I introduced that incorrectly. So yeah, because I mean, from a financial standpoint, if theaters are no longer, let's see, 1 second.
I mean, and even like a bunch of people are calling Sony cowards regarding all this, but I mean, if they had showed it and made theaters show it, and something had gone wrong,
we'd be pissed.
Everyone would be pissed. Like, what the hell, Sony? Why didn't you cancel that? Like, there were threats.
Yeah.
But now that we it's like there's no real way they could win in the American public's eye.
That is my general opinion on this at this moment. Okay, is well, okay. I'm going to start off by saying that I think the premise for the movie was kind of going out on a limb in the first place. Okay, it's different if you do something like Inglourious Bastards, which I haven't seen, but it takes place around the tyranny of Hitler, as far as I understand. Mm-hmm. And you make a movie, and eventually you maybe kill Hitler, whatever the deal is. Spoilers, if no one has seen it. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming they probably shoot Hitler. If they don't, whatever. But it's different when, for I guess 2 reasons. One, when the guy is already dead, and we're kind of like in the past now thinking like, okay, that guy really was an asshole. Like there's really no debate. But the movie wasn't also necessarily marketed that way, I guess. I mean, it's Quentin Tarantino, so I think a lot of people probably just write it off as like violence, whatever. And it's not like no one's like really giving it any kind of thought. But the interview was something that people were like, oh, that movie where they killed, Kim Jong-un, like that was the thing. People, that's what it was. What was the premise of your movie? 2 guys get hired to kill Kim Jong-un, a living current dictator. And Kim, if you're listening, please don't do anything because of this podcast. But I think it's a weird thing to go ahead with. I really do. I was surprised that was an idea that Sony, I guess, as the production company, was okay with when they did it. Now, here's the other thing. I will preface this by saying I'm not a huge fan of both Rogen and Franco in the same thing. I like James Franco. I don't like Seth Rogen. And putting them together, I like both of them about 3 times less than I like Seth Rogen by himself. So I already was kind of like, you know what, probably not really interested in this. But I don't know. It does seem weird. So now that all of this happens, they decide, well, we're going to pull it. Part of me is thinking, are you surprised? Like, does it really surprise you that, that your movie's going to get pulled? Because it's exactly what you said. What if something happened?
Yeah.
What if something did? They would have been absolutely effed as a company. Like I can't even imagine.
Like pitchforks would have been coming out against Sony, probably.
And of course, then we'd all be singing a different tune. Everyone who's now saying, like, oh, you're freaking giving in to demands of the terrorist. And we'd all be saying, like, what? The signs were there. Why didn't you freaking pull the movie? All you care about is making a buck. And as much hype as this movie's had, as much whatever, I mean, movies are expensive. They've already sunk a lot of money into it. And for them to be like, you know what? We're taking our ball and going home because we can't win here. Part of it's a little admirable to say, cool, you know what? Awesome. But then, you get on the other side now, where even Obama has come out and said that he thinks canceling the movie was a bad idea. Because he thinks that canceling the movie is telling the world that dictators / terrorists can have an effect with really not even doing anything. All they did was say, I mean, I guess they made a threat, and that there was supposed to be countless reassurances from the CIA and the FBI that there's no credibility behind the threat. But how do you determine credibility on something like that?
Yeah.
Some nation that has probably nuclear weapons says that they will reap the they will bring upon you another 9/11 if you show this movie about our dictator being killed. And what are you supposed to say to that?
Some country, I can't remember which country it was, something in Europe. They made a movie in 2006 when Bush was in office about assassinating Bush. And we didn't declare war on them.
Yeah, well, and so, I mean, it could have also been because a lot of people hated Bush, but I don't know. It is weird, and I am not sure what I think. I am not sure what I think. I think that outright canceling it was a weird choice. You know, because again, like we've talked about, it's a movie. They're not actually killing anybody. They're lampooning it, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are bringing up Team America, and how they talked bad about Kim Jong-il. And, you know, given it's an animated, Team America was an animated, or not animated, but, you know, it wasn't.
Puppeted.
Yeah, it was not humans and stuff doing things. So when you look at it, you kind of say, okay, you know, it's parody. It's like outrageous, and given this also is probably outrageous, but I don't know. It doesn't surprise me at all. It does not surprise me that it eventually got canceled. But I don't know how I feel about it, because it's one of those things like better be safe than sorry. But how much is too much? Do you roll over for everybody? You know, like everyone that now makes terrorist threats, like when that new Will Ferrell movie comes out with Kevin Hart about prison, you better not show that because of what, you know? And then, we can't do it because I don't know. So they did cancel another movie. Paramount, I think it said Paramount Pictures canceled a movie that had Steve Carell going to North Korea and trying to like fit in like with a job or something. It had like a job transfer. And so now that's canceled as well. That probably wasn't even necessarily bad about North Korea.
Huh.
But now it's canceled because it's another movie about North Korea and they don't want negative publicity. Because even if it's not about that, what's going to happen is people are going to say, did you hear about that Steve Carell movie about North Korea? And then that's all people are going to say, is that these two things, because they're somehow connected by two factors, that they're both movies and that they're both about North Korea or have North Korea in them. And then all of a sudden you start getting negative attention for a movie that, you know, might not even be something like The Interview, where you're killing a dictator, a living dictator of another country. I don't know.
I just am curious to see where this goes. 'Cause if it, like, well, North Korea, they were smart. Like, they attacked America through our corporations. Mm-hmm. Like, our military, on a military standpoint, the U.S. military, like, dwarfs, like, everyone, especially North Korea.
Right.
But, I mean, if we end up, like taking action against North Korea for, like, these, like, cyber attacks and hacking, mm-hmm. all because of Seth Rogen and James Franco. Like, if, just thinking of what could come of this, like, in 50 years from now, oh yeah, the North Korean War started from a comedy movie.
Yeah,
starring
really.
James Franco and Seth Rogen.
That'd be incredible.
Like,
I hope that's not the
what
case.
If? That would be awful. That would be ridiculously awful.
Yeah, something no one could have imagined. Now, I did see this morning. Okay, so it was yesterday or this week that, listen to us, we've gotten, like, hyper-political on the show, and you know what, we're going to go with it, because we're on a groove here, but, this week, the FBI announced that it was, in fact, the cyber attacks were from North Korea, or at least from a group of North Korean origin. Now, whether or not they were acting under any kind of Kim Jong-un directive is unclear. I saw an article today that said the North Korean government officially claims that it had nothing to do with it and is going to work with the United States to figure out the identity of the hackers and what they were working under. So, because here's the thing, and you know, this has already been mentioned. Theoretically, it could have just been a bunch of fanaticals that said, you know what, they're talking shit about our leader, and we're going to do this. And, you know, Kim Jong-un didn't have to give any kind of anything. I mean, there's people over there that probably are ready to, you know, not sacrifice themselves or martyr. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I mean, that's not what they're doing here. It's basically, you know, you see it in movies and stuff where you've got that one guy that's so loyal, and then they go off and do something, and then the guy that they're loyal to is like, no, I didn't tell you to do that, but they did it anyways. That could be a situation here. Who knows? Whether or not that's likely, there's no telling, because, you know, the guy did just threaten, you know, like, passively a nuclear war against us if we showed this movie. So now we're supposed to think that, oh, he wasn't behind those cyber terrorist attacks. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this new year, like last year, they showed a propaganda film with like U.S. buildings getting blown up and like clips of 9/11 to like North Koreans. And I remember watching it and I was like, this is disturbing.
It's, you know, it really is a double standard, but it's the same thing with everybody. It's the same thing with Americans. It's same people right now that are saying we're just rolling over and letting the terrorists win, are not thinking about the repercussions of what happens if we got attacked. You know, what would those same? I really want to know what those same people would be saying if we eventually re-released the interview. And it happened, and we got attacked because of it. And all the people that were talking shit, saying, Sony's a bunch of freaking... I want to use words I can't use. Sony's a bunch of freaking pansies. And, you know, all the things that are being said right now, what would those same people say if we did eventually release it and we got attacked? You got to think of both sides, man. The world is not so clear-cut that you can say, well, that's the right answer. You know, like, so maybe sometimes, but whatever. Let's see. What's next on our list here? Oh, something much more lighthearted. Mid-season finales. I wanted to talk about this. So, mid-season finales, and some people might say, mid-season finale, what is that? And I would say, well, it's basically when a show decides that they want to cut off. So I don't know what the time frame is normally for shows to run, like season to season. If it's like 8 months or 6 months or whatever it is, but you wait like, you know, 6 months plus, I think, in order to get to your next season of whatever. So it might be 4 or 5 months of a season usually. I'm not counting the mid-season stuff here, but basically you have your normal shows that, you know, last this long, and then you get these big long breaks where you're waiting for the next season, and then you watch for a little bit, and then you get the big long breaks. And so AMC comes up with the idea that, you know what, we're going to do mid-season finales. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have this amount, but we're going to cut it off in the middle, not have a finale, a mid-season finale, and then we're going to show a little bit here at the end, and then the finale, and then you have to wait less before we restart back with the next season. So basically, overall it spreads out the entire season a little bit longer, but you get a break in the middle so that you're getting probably the same amount of overall breaks, but not all at once. What is your opinion on the idea of a mid-season finale? The fact that you are cutting up what would probably be a normal season, front to back, in order to sort of stretch it out and cut down on times. At least that a watcher, a viewer, does not have to spend waiting for the season premiere.
Does it really cut number of episodes, or does it kind of stretch?
I don't. Well, I don't know. We've also had a change in the episode format, because now a lot of shows used to do about 20 to 25 episodes per season. Now we're seeing a lot of shows, especially if you're in the hour format, switching to about 12 to 13 episodes per season. So I mean, if you're looking in the case of AMC shows, because I think AMC started the mid-season stuff, you're looking at 6 episodes cut, and then about 6-7 episodes. I know the CW is now doing mid-season stuff, because I know that the Arrow and I think Flash and maybe one other show has mid-season finales now. And this is why I wanted to bring it up, because I didn't realize it was a thing on other networks now. I thought it was only an AMC thing, and I kind of was like, all right, AMC. My initial thought it's because I don't watch these shows, but my initial thought is that it is, well, I asked you for your opinion. You go ahead and you talk first. Sorry, I was about to head in with my own. But so, yeah, does it change the number of episodes? I don't think so. It'll be the difference between running 13 or running like 6, 7, and then running another 6, 7, like 2 months or 3 months after that.
Well, I personally don't mind them. Obviously, like, I don't like going that month in between shows because usually, like, mid-season finales, they throw a cliffhanger in there to keep you coming back. Mm-hmm. So, like, that bugs me, but that's just part of shows. But I don't really mind it because, I mean, I know the people who work on that shows during that break, they also get a break. So, right. Like, actors and, like, producers, sound guys, they work every single day because they're filming every day. And then they get to the winter break, and then, most of them get some time off where they get, like, a little sabbatical or, like, a little vacation time, I guess. I don't know. It's where they can go kind of relax.
Right.
So, I mean, on that aspect, I understand. Yeah, like, that's fine. But I know I watched both Arrow and The Flash, and the Arrow since season 1 has had mid-season finales.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I have never really minded it. What does bug me is when they are like really lackluster in the first half of the season, and then try to like make the second half really big.
Right. Well, specifically about Arrow, I think I heard that it sort of had a rough start, but got better as it went. And I don't watch enough shows to know. I don't watch enough shows that had the mid-season finale to really experience it. You know, like I've seen The Walking Dead. I've seen a little bit of Breaking Bad, but I've never watched them like actually as they went on. I don't know. My initial thought is that it really seemed. I don't even know what to. Because, you know, it's almost as if my opinion is changing as we go on. As you've described, you know, like taking a break for the actors and everything else, it seems to make a little more sense. But it really just seemed like a, I don't want to use the term ghetto, but like a poor man's way of like drawing out suspense, you know, of now we don't have to have one finale and do a cliffhanger. Now we can have two finales. And is that a bad thing? I don't know. I kind of sometimes I get tired of the cliffhanger formula I'm trying to think of what show I watched not too long ago that literally like the end of every episode was cliffhanger. And it started to feel
that's how Walking Dead is.
Well, and maybe that was the show that I got tired of. And so the problem is, you know, so then you say to yourself, well, okay, so what if a show doesn't have a cliffhanger? What gets you coming back to the next episode? And I'm like, well, hopefully the characters and the overall story is interesting enough that I'm not, like, basing my judgment on week-to-week episodes saying, I hope this week's interesting, otherwise I'm not coming back. But it just, I don't know. Like I said, specifically because I get tired of shows just, you know, stuff. But what's really important is what we're about to show you. Boom! Next episode. And then, because it just, I don't know. So the fact that, you know, the mid-season finale feels like, oh, we love doing finales, so now we're going to do two. And it just feels like an extra device for them to try to cliffhanger something that they don't need to cliffhanger. But after you've talked about time for actors and everybody else to kind of break a little bit, I don't know. Maybe it's not such a irritating idea after all. Originally, I was kind of on the other side of it, but yeah, I don't know. You kind of put it into perspective for me. Let me.
Yeah, I mean, viewers aren't the only people involved with the show, right? Because the actor from Arrow, Stephen Amell, who plays Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, on that show. He's like really involved on social media stuff.
Okay.
Where he like talks to like all of his fans on Facebook, does like a bunch of Q&As, like records videos in his trailer. But he'll like post like what he does on his break, and he does like archery stuff. He like co-owns like a wine company in California. And he did like he sold a bunch of merchandise for like a cancer research company or charity, not company. I don't know. And he was talking about his break, and he was like saying how he'd been working every day for like since they started filming this season,
right?
Like never really getting days off, and that he was kind of looking forward to. It was like, well, because originally I was the same as you. I was like, mid-season finales are stupid.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's kind of what I thought for a while.
Now it kind of makes sense a little bit.
Well, that's why we have you on the show, Tony, to always bring my radical opinions back into realistic views. One thing here before we jump to some other things and then have some fun, and then we're off the show. MIT was doing research. Let me pull this up over here. Was doing research on the twisting, the most twisting tongue twister, is what I'll call it. So researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have developed what may be the most difficult tongue twister ever. According to this, at least, is what it is. Pad kid poured curd pulled cod. So I'm gonna Facebook this to you so you can see it, and then I want you to try and say it a couple times fast.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
This is supposed to be the hardest tongue twister that exists. According to the Boston, so go ahead and mull it over and try to prep your brain for it. According to the Boston Magazine, or to Boston Magazine, who spoke with MIT researchers, when subjects tried to say the tricky phrase, they couldn't repeat it and sometimes stopped trying. Excuse me. If anyone can say this phrase 10 times quickly, they get a prize. I'm actually interested in what the prize is, but let's see. So Stephanie Shattuck Huffnagel is her name. She specializes in studying speech errors. She will present her research in San Francisco about commonly misspoken words. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Anyways, this is the one. MIT has done research to say that this phrase is the hardest phrase that you could ever possibly say. So Tony, hold on. Here we go. I've got something for this. I'm hyping it up.
See, this sentence isn't even like a sentence. It's just
it really isn't. But neither is. No, I guess you're right. Some of the other ones are. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers is one, and then Sally sold seashells by the sea. I can't even say normal words, and they want me to say this. There's no way. Actually, you know what? I've got a clip of someone trying to say it here. That's all that came out. I'm sorry. All right, so here we go. I got a drum roll. Go ahead.
Pad kid poured curd pulled cod. 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 Pad kid poured pulled.
That was damn good. That was good. You got like 5. I didn't expect that. How did you do that? You had kind of a rough start for a split second. And then, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Damn. I need to record that and like take it out and send it to MIT and be like, look, I know a guy. He can do it. Now give us our stuff. Whatever it is. It's probably just a certificate that says, here, you can record. You can say stupid words. Damn, that was really good. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Tony breaking world records here. Well, normally we go on to Page Not Found, but we don't have that, so I'm going to go on to In Other News. We got some good stuff today for that.
This just in other news.
Let's see, hold on a second. I am pulling something up real quick. What the hell does this guy want? I'm trying to do some extra stuff here. manage my CPU thing with a guy at work, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it during the show because I can't focus. So anyways, we're going to go on to another news brought to you by nobody. Let me pull this up, and we're almost there. Dog accidentally shoots owner with a rifle. Now, you would have thought that our gun laws would have extended to dogs at this point. Apparently not. Authorities in Wyoming said a man was shot in the arm when his dog stepped on a loaded gun in the back seat of his pickup truck. Now, I am awful with geography. Is Wyoming considered to be the South? Do we know?
Wyoming?
I don't know where Wyoming is.
I think it's up north.
I don't have a... I literally don't know where it is. Hold on. Wyoming.
Maybe I'm the one that's bad.
No. I can guarantee you I'm bad regardless of what your standing in geography. So this looks like... Oops. Let's zoom out. It looks like it would be in the north. It's above Colorado. It's actually more northern than Illinois is. I was just trying to figure out. Guy carrying a loaded gun in the back of his pickup truck. Sure sounded like it was getting ready to be a story coming straight out of Alabama. Let's see here. Johnson County Sheriff Steve Kozasek said Richard Phipps, 46, of Sheridan, was standing next to his pickup truck Monday when his dog climbed from the front seat to the back and stepped on a loaded .300 Winchester Magnum, which did not have its safety activated. The gun fired off a round that struck Phipps in the left side of the arm. So it shot through the truck. It had to have.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Kozasek said evidence from the scene.
Around.
I guess, I mean, all I know is that Magnums are crazy, but statements from two employees who were working with Phipps at the time said I'm going to start over. Kozasek said evidence from the scene and statements from two employees who were working with Phipps at the time of the incident support Phipps' version of events. Authorities said that Phipps' injury is not considered life-threatening, but there is a chance he could lose his arm. That sucks.
That does suck.
You leave your gun in your truck, loaded with no safety, and you could lose it because your dog stepped on it and shot you.
Oh, well, you should at least put it in a case.
Yeah, I mean,
just like chilling in his backseat. That's like, this is why you put your guns in cases.
Right. Okay. So, and here's the other thing too. I mean, it's a Winchester Magnum. I'm assuming it's some kind of. It's more like a handgun. I mean,
it's a rifle.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then there I go. I would have assumed even. Well, okay. So even with the rifle, unless he just set it in there just so he could set it down. What are you driving with that thing bouncing around in the back of your seat? If your dog could have pulled the trigger, how do you accidentally... I mean, I've heard of stories where a dude hits the stock of the gun and oops, boom, and shoots something, you know? Like, there's so many things that could go wrong here, and one of them did. It's, you know, I guess we're lucky that that's all it was his arm, but that's still pretty big stuff here. And then also, here's another really good article. I'm actually excited to bring this one up. Because, are you familiar with Dr. Oz?
Yep, a little bit.
Okay, at least you know who he is, and that he's a huge nutcase. Well, we now have research that confirms that Dr. Oz is in fact not a doctor. A new study in the British Medical Journal has made official something many have argued for a long time. The advice that Dr. Oz gives on his famous American television show can be dangerous to follow. Researchers randomly selected 40 episodes of the Dr. Oz show and evaluated recommendations that its star, Mehmet Oz, gives each episode. The majority of his suggestions involve dietary advice, but he also promotes alternative therapies and other things of questionable veracity. Now, I've never actually seen an episode of Dr. Oz, but I have seen clips. And he's almost, it's almost as if he's like a televangelist, because he's just like, the people. He's preaching, I guess, is what he's doing, which is what you do with televangelism. But it's just so funny to see him work and to be like, he's got an answer for everything. Dr. Oz, how do I shave off all this fat? But all I can eat is onions. He'd have an answer for you. He would. They found that only 46% of his claims were actually corroborated with science. So less than half of the things he said, actually had. So approximately, if we're saying that 40 episodes, let's just pretend that each episode we're going to just say counts as like one thing that he said. Approximately 18 to 19 episodes of the 40 actually had scientific backing, while 36% were found to have no supporting evidence whatsoever, and 15% of it directly contradicted scientific evidence. Now, I added this up earlier. I think there's like 3% that's not included here, so I'm not sure what their where their other 3% is falling here. But for the most part,
that's the 3% body fat you'd lose.
Yes, that is the one that you can burn by freaking eating. I don't even know. I can't even think of anything that's as absurd as probably the things that he would say on that show.
I'm not a fan of Dr. Oz. He was like president and like top of his class in medical school. So like he knows his stuff. He's just a sellout.
Really? So he actually
And like
is a
he's
doctor?
like one of the best cardiovascular surgeons in the country. Pretty sure. So like he's
just an
legit.
asshole.
He just sells out and doesn't care and just wants money.
Well, I guess I can respect him a little more. It's better to be a... I don't know. Is it better to be a guy who knows his stuff but chooses just to screw people over than it is to be someone who pretends to know his stuff and screws people over?
I think both are pretty bad.
They both really are. Let's see. Is there anything else interesting in this? Actually, yes. If you go on here, it says, what makes the study findings all the more disappointing is that Oz is a real doctor, and his resume is extremely impressive. He went to Harvard, got his medical degree from University of Pennsylvania, and has been distinguished professor of surgery at Columbia since 2001. By all accounts, he is an expert on cardiothoracic surgery. Let's see. In June, Oz was grilled by a member of Congress at a hearing about false advertising for weight loss products. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else really interesting here to say. But yeah, if you've been listening to Dr. Oz, don't. Because less than half of the things he says are actually true. And who knows what even the things he's saying, that water is good for you, and then that counts as one of the things that he said that is actually true. Well, that is all we have for that today, and I still don't have a clip for Would You Rather. Nearing up on the end of our show here. So I will play this.
Toronto doesn't have bums!
That is true. So with that, we will go to Would You Rather. Mr. De Palma. Let's see here. What's a good one to start with? I saw a couple good ones here. Okay. Here we go. Would you rather live with your parents forever or get married to a complete stranger and not be able to get a divorce? So, live with your parents forever. You can marry, you can have a nice job, you can do anything a normal person could, I guess, except for own a home. And everything you would have to be in the confines of your parents' house. And then the other option is you can get married, but you have no idea who it could be. It could be somebody, it could be your soulmate. It could be someone you're completely compatible with. But probably more often than not, it won't be. And you can't get a divorce.
I would probably say live at home. I would live with my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. That,
I would just move my family in and be like, hey, we're going to take over this house, kind of. Sorry.
Imagine
There's
how
more
much
of us now.
rent that you would not have to be paying. I would be in full support of that. All right, let's see what the votes are here. Wow, a little more split. Wow. Okay, so 120,000 votes here. 45% say that they would rather live with their parents. 55% said that they would rather get married to a complete stranger and not be able to divorce. As it said here on the first comment, your parents would eventually die. So, I guess that means you would inherit their house and belongings. Let's see. Well, let's go on to the next page here. I don't see any other good ones there. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Well, nope, I'm not gonna answer that was dumb. That one's dumb. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one, and I don't know. It may not even have a clear answer. You know what? Actually, I'm not gonna ask it because I'm not gonna ask that one either. Okay, so here's another one. This one's a good one. Would you rather? Would you rather lose your keys, car, house, whatever, or lose your cell phone?
I have backups of all my keys, so I would say that.
Well, I don't know if that counts, Tony DePalma, because not everyone has that, so we'll have to, because that means that only certain people, I'm going to say the backups don't count. So let's assume that losing your keys and losing your phone are both things that you don't want to happen because you don't have backup of your keys, just as you don't have an extra phone sitting around. An extra phone of the same exact model that has everything on it that you previously had.
And phone.
You'd rather lose your phone than lose the keys?
Yep. That is backed up. But if I lose my keys to my car and don't have a backup, I have to get my car towed to Volkswagen so they can make one of those custom keys off of. They have to find. It's a pain in the butt. I did it once, and it was
I imagine.
It cost me so much money. It would be cheaper to buy a new phone.
Alright, well, then we will check phone here. Impressive. 170,000 votes. 46%. Sorry. It's not a 4, it's a 5. 56% would rather lose their keys. 44% would rather lose their phone. Yeah, I might be with you on that one. You know, at least I could get into the house, I could drive my car, I could do other things. Losing a phone, I mean, unless you're going to get mugged on the way back, then you're probably going to be okay. Losing keys, and you might not even get in your house, and not be able to get your car and everything else like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You know what? Here, let's go back. I'm going to go back and read that other one because it's a Christmassy one. It's not really Christmassy, but it does have. Okay. Would you rather give a really bad gift or no gift at all? So, assume that whoever you are giving it to is probably going to be slightly offended either way. But would you rather be the guy that doesn't get that person a gift? You're at a gathering, you're at a family gathering, everyone's giving gifts to each other, but you're the one who didn't give it to them. You know, the only one. Or you give gifts, yours is the only one that's awful. And it's something that just no one has a use for. Or maybe they have a use for, you know, like an ugly sweater, but they don't want to use it.
So I'm guessing if I don't get him a present, I can't be like, I owe you. Or I'll get
Correct.
you one.
You're just kind of that guy who doesn't. You'd be a Jake Mercer, is what you'd be, because I don't give anybody anything.
I think I would probably just be the guy giving the crappy present.
Giving the crappy present. What would I say? Well, it's easy for me because I would say no gift at all, but then I also I generally try not to ask for gifts. I'm going to say I'm going to give no gift at all. 130,000 votes here. 67% said that they would rather give a really bad gift. 33% said that they'd rather give no gift at all. So it seems that the majority has more heart than I do. I'll ask one more here, and then we can wrap things up. That's a dumb one. Wow, some of these are awful. Some of these are just really bad. Okay. Here we go. Would you rather... This is actually... ties into real life and everything. Would you rather be good at something you hate? You hate doing it. It's like the worst. You don't want to have a job doing it, but you're good at it. And you're the guy that people come to get it done, but you hate it. Or bad at something you love. You would love to have that as a job or love to do that as a thing, but you were the worst and no one would ask you to do it because you suck at it. But you want to do it so bad.
Shoot.
So pick one thing you love, and you would have to become bad at that now. Or pick something you hate, and that would have to be the new thing that everyone came to you seeking out, or that you would have to get a job for. Good at something you hate, or bad at something you love?
I would have to say good at something I hate. Because then I can maintain my current skills. There's current things,
right.
Things I love.
Technically, you're adding on there, even though it's...
Exactly. And I might not like what I'm doing, but I would like people being like, you're the man at that. Like the kudos to you for being awesome.
Yeah.
To you.
I don't know. I think I would be more content. I'm trying to think here. I think I would be more content if I was bad at something I loved. Well, shit. I'm trying to think of what that encompasses. In cases, could I say, like, okay, something I'm like addicted to. We could say games. What if I was awful at games and just couldn't beat them? But that's what I did all the time, was just play games. Versus good at something I hate, which is a lot of things. But I hate things that I'm like just okay at that I hate. Like I hate being it's the worst having a job doing something that's not fun at all. And so I can't decide what would be better. I am going to say I would rather be bad at something I loved.
Really?
Because I think I would be so miserable just because of the person I am. Not everybody. Some people can be positive, but I'm a pessimist. And so I think that I would be even more miserable than I ever claim to be now if I was good at something I hated and therefore had to do that thing, as either as a job or have people need me to do it for them or whatever it was.
Are you scared of snakes?
Huh?
What is your opinion on snakes?
I'm okay with them, I suppose.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, if someone who, like, hypothetically, if someone didn't like snakes, they would be an expert snake charmer.
I hate spiders, so what would I do with spiders? I can't stand...
You'd test venom.
Ugh. Yeah, see, I don't want to be good at something I hate. That sounds awful. I'm going to pick bad at something I love. Wow, this one's really sort of unified. 125,000 votes. 77% said that they would rather be good at something they hated. 23% said that they would rather be bad at something they loved. Interesting. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up what we're doing for today. Today's pretty chill. Taking it easy, not getting too heavy. Would have comfied. Somebody killed the jazz. We're gonna take ourselves out to a song. Actually have a returning guest from last week. Thank you for listening to the show, everybody. If you want to help out, you think to yourself, man, that show's not bad. I want to help those guys out. Easiest thing to do, and actually the most helpful thing to do, is to share our posts on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever. Posting it all on Twitter is great because I never remember to post about our shows on Twitter. So sharing on Facebook is really helpful. If you want to sponsor a segment, you can find out more about that on the website. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/streamthemachine. You can support us there. You don't even have to donate any money. You can just click support and become a supporter, and that works wonders. Email in your music. If you have music, if you have a friend that has music, if you have anybody that has music. You heard a dude in college once was sitting down playing a guitar. Be like, hey man, do you have any music on record? Or, like on record, because people record on records now anymore. On CD or anything that I could have, I want to send it to these guys I know. That would be awesome. Would love that. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Redefined Jack. Tony is at Tony DePalma51. The show is at STM Podcast. You can visit streamthemachine.com to catch up on older episodes if you're just listening in now and you think, man, that was pretty good. Let's go listen to an older episode. You can find them all there as well as descriptions of the show. So I am now putting up the descriptions of the shows as we go. So if let's say you missed today's show, okay, and you come in later and you're like, I want to figure out what they were talking about. Normally you'd have to just listen. Well, I thought to myself, well, that's not exactly fair on our part. So what I do now is I put bullet points, kind of like what I used to do when I previewed them on Fridays. I'm now putting those same bullet points up on the page. So when you go to that page, if you don't get them even if you get them from iTunes, it'll show it. But it will tell you the topics that we discussed today, sort of as a breakdown. Not all the topics, so just some of the bigger ones. You'll always be able to get a little bit more out of actually just listening to the show. I want to thank everybody for the help. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Ross, even though he's not here. Has stuff to do, I'm sure. I'm actually going to be there for a sort of a dinner party thing tonight. Going over there for some drinks. I think we're going to have food, maybe play a board game.
Don't get too handsy.
Yeah. Just relaxing, taking it easy, and, whatever else you can do with booze and freaking food. Next week is going to be episode 37. It will be at 10:30 as usual. I don't know if there's really anything else important to say. Next week will be after Christmas, so it will be our first post-Christmas show, and our only post-Christmas show, because then the next show will be next year. Coming up on that 50 mark, I'm working my hardest to make sure that we do not miss a weekend coming up. So if Ross or if Tony or if anybody has a weekend off that they can't do it, even if I do, I've decided that I will make up a show somehow. If all of us are gone on a Saturday and none of us can make it, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, up until the next Saturday, I will find the time, I will sit down, I will pick out topics, I will do something, and even if I record it myself, I will do it to keep us on track so we can hit the 1 year and the 50 episode mark on the same week. Dedicated, because I want to do that. Now that I've seen that that's how it's going to line up, it sounds like a really cool idea. Anyways, we have a song to play us out here, and it's one of the guys that we think we had play last week. So we had Aaron DeVries play last week, and his brother, or we speculated could have been a father-son duo, somebody, his related person, Ben DeVries, sang with him. Today is just going to be Ben DeVries. It's I Saw Three Ships. It's from the Christmas mixtape 2010. We're going to play this. We'll see you guys out. Thanks again for listening to the show. Thank you, Tony, for coming on and providing us with some good entertainment. You know what? Today was a good discussion show. I enjoyed it. It was kind of nice to cut through some of it and talk about some important stuff. And next week we'll be back to whimsical and not giving a shit about anything.
Alrighty.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was in those ships, all three, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in those ships, all three, on Christmas Day in the morning? The Virgin Mary and Christ were there on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. The Virgin Mary and Christ were there on Christmas Day in the morning. Oh, pray whither sail those ships, all three, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Oh, pray whither sail those ships, all three, on Christmas Day in the morning. And oh, they sailed into Bethlehem on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And oh, they sailed into Bethlehem on Christmas Day in the morning. Shall ring on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day in the morning. And all the angels to heaven shall sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the angels in heaven shall sing on Christmas Day in the morning. And all the souls on earth shall sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all these souls on earth shall sing on Christmas Day in the morning. Then let us all rejoice again on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Then let us all rejoice again on Christmas Day in the morning. Come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.
Put some of your ham in here.
Pro boner.
Boom, and it's done.
Nice.
Oh, God. Well, the good news, I guess, is that The processor ran better this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still. I was worried about temperatures, but it seems actually like the temperatures relatively low still. It's hitting like maybe 85 degrees max, but it's staying around the 75 to 80 degrees, which is nice.